Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sue Laurie, and I'm parliamentarian for the Women's Club of Ocoee. On behalf of our president, Lynn Ziegler, who is unable to be here tonight, and the Women's Club, I would like to welcome you to the 2021 Political Forum, sponsored by the Women's Club of Ocoee, Incorporated. Helping with tonight's event from the Women's Club are moderator, myself, computer operator Cheryl Applegate, and Cheryl also made the candidates' name cards. Telephone operators Lillian Lassiter, review panel Judy Lewis, Tricia Scholar, and timekeeper Patty Leroy. And Gail Daniels will manage the 1-minute time cards. Michelle Applegate and I will ask the questions of the candidates. Club members assisting in various capacities are, I don't think we have any. The Women's Club has held political forums for several decades in order to provide the citizens of the community with an opportunity to hear the views of the political candidates and who is running for elected office. We are an organization, and as individuals and the organization, we provide this forum with an unbiased view. The forum will be televised on Spectrum Channel 493, at which time questions from residents may be called in during the broadcast to 407-554-7118. Also, questions may be emailed to citizens@ocoee.org. The forum will live stream. Go to the city website, www.ocoee.org. Click on the Ocoee TV icon in the upper right corner, and the live stream will show up in the center of the screen. This contact information will be shown across the screen several times during tonight's presentation. The format for the political forum is as follows. Citizens may present questions via email or telephone. All questions will be given to the review panel prior to being delivered to the moderators. This is done to avoid any repetition, statements, or questions of a personal nature, and to present the widest variety of subjects and issues. The forum will end no later than 7:45 p.m. Time constraints may prevent all questions from being presented. If you have any questions or concerns that are not addressed in the forum, please contact the candidates personally at a later date. I will now introduce the candidates and go over the format for the forum. Running for District 2 Commissioner is incumbent Rosemary Wilson and challenger James Knox Anderson. Commissioner Wilson has held this seat since 2009. Running for District 4 Commissioner is incumbent George Oliver III and challengers Lori Hart, Joel Keller, and Keith Richardson. Commissioner George Oliver III was elected in 2018. Candidates. When we begin, you will be allowed a 3-minute presentation according to the following format. Introduction of yourself, background information, educational background, present or former occupation, number of years you have lived in Ocoee, your political platform to include the ideas for the future of Ocoee and how you would accomplish them. The candidates will have 2 minutes to answer each question directed to them. We have strict time constraints in order to allow as many questions as possible during the forum. At the conclusion, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a final statement. We will now begin with the opening statements and will follow with the questions from the citizens of Ocoee. District 2, incumbent Rosemary Wilson.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm so pleased to be here tonight. Thank you to the Women's Club for hosting this forum. My name is Rosemary Wilson, and I'm your candidate for District 2 Commissioner. I'm the current City Commissioner in District 2 running for re-election. I hope I have the opportunity tonight to answer your questions and concerns. If not, please reach out to me. My family and I love Ocoee. We care about our friends, neighbors, church members, and all our residents of Ocoee. I think Ocoee is a great place to call home. Now, to tell you a little about myself. My family and I have lived in Ocoee for 24 years. I'm a proud graduate of UCF, a social worker for 28 years with the Christian Service Center here at Ocoee. Our city is growing at a very stable rate. I have kept a watchful eye on the spending. For over the past years, the millage rate has decreased, which determines your city taxes. We have outstanding, hardworking city employees to maintain a safe community, from our first responders to every department within the city. Our city is a charming and peaceful community that has many parks, activities, sporting fields, lakes, playgrounds, and recreation areas to enjoy. At your direction, the downtown master plan is coming to life. The Lakeshore Center was enlarged. The Bill Breeze Park along Stark Lake has been improved with additional phases to come. When I was here last, Blueford Avenue was under construction, and now look at it. It looks great. The landscape around the McGuire House has been restored to its original glory, and now we have a wedding pavilion. A new city hall is under construction with completion in 2022. Oakland Avenue will have a 12-foot sidewalk down the middle of the street with plans to connect to the West Orange Trail. The traffic flow along Silver Star Road and the 429 has a plan. Now we await Department of Transportation to move forward. Montgomery Avenue Park has been a mission of mine and will soon be opening with our first dog park. The park has a large activity field, playground, and for the community to enjoy. The Commission is supporting my dream and initiative of an inclusive playground to be enjoyed by those with varying abilities. This is slated for Tiger Minor Park and is budgeted in the capital improvement plan. Everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy a playground. New businesses are welcome in Ocoee. We must maintain smart planning to keep industrial segments of this growth in the industrial park close to major roadways, keeping semi-tractor trailers off our residential streets. Ocoee has access to 4 major roadways, which allows us to travel throughout the state. I am a common-sense, frugal commissioner who's not afraid to speak up and always working hard for your best interests for all the residents of Ocoee. I'm here to earn your vote. Thank you.
Candidate Knox Anderson.
My name is Knox Anderson, and I'm proudly running for District 2 Commissioner. My dad, who always had a piece of advice ready, told me that you should know where someone's coming from in order to know where they're going. I graduated in 2008 with a bachelor from the University of Central Florida with a bachelor's in criminal justice. In 2010, I was sworn in with the Florida Highway Patrol as a state trooper. 2 years later, I was hired by the Mainland Police Department and spent 9 years with them. I worked as a detective, a public information officer, and a patrol officer during that time period. During that time, I re-enrolled at UCF and completed my second undergraduate degree, as well as completing my master's. In January of this year, I retired from the Mainland Police Department and started as a first-year law student at Barry University. My wife and I moved to Ocoee in 2018, and both of us immediately felt at home. We love our fantastic neighbors, our community, and we're proud to call Ocoee home. My platform consists of 3 parts: communication, parks, and retaining Ocoee firefighters. Communication at the most basic level is a free transfer of information between individuals. The burden is on us as a city as well as elected officials to ensure we are communicating with our residents. I would like to see the city explore more channels available to us, such as Twitter, newsletters, or virtual town halls in order to keep our residents informed of events within Ocoee. If elected, I'd like to implement a feature where residents can track the voting history of commissioners on Ocoee's website. If a resident wants to know how their commissioner voted, they currently need to slog through months of agenda meetings in order to piece together this information. We need to be more transparent to our residents about issues that come before the City Commissioner Board, and tracking how commissioners vote is a great first step. Ocoee is undergoing a vast amount of growth, and we need to make sure that our park system is equipped not only for current but for future residents as well. This means looking for more land to turn into parks, but also look at how our existing parks work. We need to ask ourselves, are we utilizing our parks to the fullest extent possible? If not, let's look at how we can be more effective in their usage. I look at Montgomery Park, and while I love what has been accomplished there, the wasted open field space means that we're not utilizing this park effectively. Currently, only about 1/4 of the field is used, while the other 3/4 of the field remain vacant. Can we put more benches there for parents? Can we expand the playground into the unused field space? These are questions that we need to be asking, especially if we're limited to building new parks. The first thing regarding salary levels for our fire department is that we need to be realistic. I would love to immediately match our salaries to some of the larger departments, but unless the city is hiding a money printer, that's not feasible. But there are steps we can and should take to fix this problem. The first step involves reimbursing our firefighters for paramedic school. Currently, Ocoee does not reimburse for this certification, but requires this certification within 2 years of the hire date, otherwise they can be fired. I believe the city mandates this education for continuing employment. The city should also reimburse for this expense. The next step involves a salary survey that compares the Ocoee Fire Department to other similar agencies. This means against other ISO Class 1 agencies. Once we have an accurate salary survey, we can fix this problem. I hope by sharing where I've been, where I want to go, that I earn your vote on March 9th.
District 4, incumbent George Oliver III.
Good evening. I want to say that I'm honored to be here, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to be a part of this panel. Before I get started, I would like to say that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. I give thanks to God for allowing each and every one of us to be here today, to be a part of his creation yet one more day, because someone went to bed last night and is not here with us today. So I thank God for all of us being here this day. I'm George Oliver III. I have worked most of my adult life in service to our nation. Having first served in the United States Navy, I'm a community organizer, a volunteer, a youth coach, and I've become a commissioner in the past 3 years in the City of Ocoee. After many nights of prayer and careful consultation with my friends and my family, we have decided to seek re-election to the City of Ocoee Commissioner District 4. I've embraced a 5-part or call to action that will present realistic and workable solutions to address District 4's concerns. Effective leadership, a spirit of service, leadership with a sense of urgency. I believe that it shouldn't take 30 years to repair, pave, or widen a road. It's time to demand accountability. Transparency with fiscal accountability. Holding leadership accountable for the spending of our tax dollars. Economic development. Attracting new sit-down restaurants to Ocoee, to the City of Ocoee. Community empowerment. Empowering all citizens to engage in the political process by registering to vote, attending monthly council meetings, and joining city-sponsored advisory boards. Our youth programs, providing a constructive means for youth to have a voice in decision-making processes, self-growth opportunities, and developing our future leaders. I hold a master's degree of business administration from the University of Phoenix. I also have a bachelor's degree from the University of Phoenix in business management and 2 associate's degrees in legal services, one in transactional law and another in litigation from Valencia College. I have served as a Florida Supreme Court certified mediator. I recently retired from Deloitte & Touche as a pharmaceutical compliance manager. I rejoined the workforce this year in August 2020 as a teacher in the Orange County Public School System to support the local school board amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. We have lived, my family and I have lived in the City of Ocoee for 20 years.
Excuse me, Commissioner Oliver, your time is up.
I'm the husband of Deborah Oliver, I'm sorry. I had one last line.
Candidate Laurie Hart.
Sorry.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Laurie Hart, and I've been a resident of the City of Ocoee for 27 years. My husband and I have 3 beautiful girls, Ashley, Brittany, and Caitlin. Our girls attended the schools here in Ocoee, Citrus Elementary, Ocoee Middle School, and Ocoee High School. I am a graduate of the Florida A&M University, where I received my degree in nursing, the University of South Florida, where I received my degree in biology in 2 years, and also the University of Central Florida, where I received my master's in education. As a critical care registered nurse, I was in charge of I was a preceptor. I was in charge of training new nurses as well as fourth-year medical students, a clinical specialist, and a nurse manager for several units. I started teaching approximately 8 years ago. I got my first teaching position at Ridgewood Park, where I was named the 2016-2017 Teacher of the Year. I later transferred to Ocoee Elementary to serve the children here in my community, where I am now. I'm teaching first grade. I am a mentor for new teachers as well as the team lead for first grade. I also was named the 2018-2019 Teacher of the Year. I also serve the community as a board member here for the City of Ocoee Human Relations Diversity Board. We work as a group to promote cultural diversity. As a board, we coordinated the annual Martin Luther King Parade, the Black History Essay Contest that's coming up soon, and we're looking forward to currently bringing back the Fiesta de Colores. I was also participated in and helping coordinate the event, A Day of Remembrance, remembering the catastrophic event of 1920, the Ocoee Massacre. Also, I worked together with a group of wonderful people to develop the proclamation and the historical marker. I sit here among politicians tonight, but I'm not intimidated because I'm a mom, and we face many challenges every day. So we can we can problem solve, we can cook at the same time, tie issues, but we get it done. When I signed my candidacy form in December of 2020, I was running as a mother. I love Ocoee. My husband and I bought our second home here in Ocoee. So I know the importance of selecting the businesses here in Ocoee. I know the importance of needing the grocery stores, gas stations, great schools, parks, and police stations, and fire departments in which I support. I know the timely infrastructure to accommodate our travel downtown and retail businesses and restaurants for our family and entertainment. I know the importance of keeping industrial businesses out of our beautiful residential area and keeping 18-wheelers out of our roadways and in our neighborhoods. I know the importance of ensuring that the citizens are accessible to health care. I know the importance of ensuring the safety and well-being of our citizens. I know the importance of keeping our millage rates low and fostering balanced growth.
Excuse
So
me,
if you want a
Candidate Hart,
commissioner-
your time is up.
Thank you.
Candidate Joel Keller.
Good evening, and thank you once again to the Women's Club for having this. I've been attending these, I think, since 2006 now, so I really do enjoy the opportunity. I do want to say my name is Joel Keller. For those of you who may know me, I was the former commissioner of the District 4, and I'm running to get back into the seat. There's things that I think we still need to get done. A little background on me first, though. I've been in the City of Ocoee for 30 years. My wife Laura and I, we've raised our two children here. They went through Clarkona Elementary, they went through Ocoee Middle, they went through, my son went through West Orange back when it was West Orange was the high school, and then my daughter went through Ocoee High School. So we've gone through the school system here, we've been long members here. I have been a youth coach when my kids were in school for Catholic Youth League. I did soccer and Little League. I did Little League, the Ocoee Little League with my son for a while as well as an assistant coach there. I've been involved with the city itself since 2000, working on both the Police Advisory Council and on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Then once I was off the commission, I was back on the Planning and Zoning Commission, so I've kept involved in knowing and helping what's going on in our city. I have my bachelor's degree in computer science, is my background. Besides working on the Planning and Zoning and the Police Advisory Council, I was also the representative when I was on the commission to the Metro Plan Advisory Commission, so Advisory Council. So I did a lot of work with the transportation in the area, and I understand our needs there. I was former president of the Ocoee Middle School PTA. I was a former member of the Sawmill Homeowner Association and held positions there from everywhere from treasurer to president to just a regular board member. Been a proven fighter for the city of Ocoee. When we had issues with FEMA and they increased our flood zone area. I was the one who led the fight to stop that and to get our citizens' insurance rates reduced again by reversing the FEMA action. When McCormick Road, they wanted to put a transfer station there, I was the person who led the fight so that we could get, so that they kept the transfer station off of McCormick Road. When we needed someone to keep the fire department, I was the one who led the fight to keep our fire department. As you can see, I've been doing this all along. I want to get back and help on the revitalization of our downtown so we can bring back small business and jobs. I want to work on getting a traffic light on Clark Road. And I want to look at also widening McCormick Road because that's going to become the next Clark Road in our district.
Excuse
we also
me.
have to look at the fire department, where we're going with that.
Excuse me, Candidate Keller, your time is up.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't see my last sign up there. Sorry. Okay.
Candidate Keith Richardson.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this assembling of candidates. I'm your everyday guy. I'm probably like most of the people that we're going to serve. You go to work, you come home, you take care of home, you serve in the community that you live in, you're friendly to your neighbors, just an every common guy. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I've lived in Ocoee for about 19 years, and I'm a former Marine, served in the U.S. Marine Corps during the 72 to 77, served at the U.S. Embassy in Paris, France, and the Consulate General in Leningrad, Russia, where I was involved in security. I am a graduate of Columbus State Community College with a degree, Associate Engineering, Electronic Engineering degree. I am married for 40 years, and I have 2 adult children. And I really spent, just recently, the last couple of years, moved away from my work in the marketplace, where I was both a manager and a technician for a business solutions company, where every day I was on the front lines resolving issues, walking through the door of companies that had issues with their equipment and with their systems, and having to hear the concerns, hear the issues, and then come up with resolutions for those issues. I'm also currently serving as associate pastor at a church in Apopka, where once again I listen to a lot of issues and concerns and find solutions for those. Regarding the City of Ocoee, why did I decide to join the race? It's because that over the years I've seen how Ocoee is growing. I've seen some of the advances and some of the growth that has been experienced in Ocoee. And I feel like I'm at a place in life where I want to be a part of the continued growth of the City of Ocoee. Ocoee has been very good to me, and I want to give back. I understand that some of the major issues are the infrastructure, which is the road infrastructure, also the issue with retention of firefighters. And what I plan to do is bring together people. I'm a unifier. I bring together people in the business community, the faith-based community, our residents, and then the government to bring solutions to the issues that face the City of Ocoee.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer portion of the forum. The first question is for all the commissioners and candidates. With what happened last year with the Public Works Trash Department, mainly the fact that they were following policy and procedures already in place correctly, thus spending more than needed on bulk trash pickup, in turn resulting in outsourcing this and raising costs to taxpayers while reducing the quality of service. Would you ask for an organizational audit of every department with $750,000 or more in their budget? Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you. The trash was privatized. I will say that I was the only one that voted against that. I will just make the comment that the trash cost was not increased. Our trash cost to the residents was not increased for over 9 years. That's a mistake I believe the city made. I believe they should have been increasing it to accomplish the goal of keeping the trash collection in the city. We had been privatized before, and it didn't work out. Yes, the city has done extra when they were picking items up, but to me, that's a city service. The specs say that you're only allowed, I believe, like 4 cubic yards, very hard, it's about the size of a back pickup truck, and the new company is adhering to that. Again, we had wonderful city service, we had wonderful trash pickup, and I'm sorry to say that it got privatized. The other aspect regarding doing some type of analysis with the city, I believe that we have a very strong, competent management within the city. We have a healthy reserve. I believe that our financial director has done audits. I believe that we have the competency in our staff to do an audit themselves. I don't think that's necessary to pay $100,000 for an audit that may not save that amount of money. Thank you.
Candidate Knox Anderson.
As city commissioners, our first responsibility is to you as taxpayers to be good fiscal stewards of your money. I have a big background in financial work, and I believe that we should hold our departments to the highest standard possible when spending your money. Because at the end of the day, that is what they're spending, is your money. And I do believe that we should do an organizational audit for any departments over $750,000. We might find expenses that we can cut. We might find ways we can save money and provide better services. We need to be good stewards of the money, and that involves looking at what we're spending and everything like that. And times like this, where COVID, and we're asking all the families to tighten their belts up, it is not unreasonable to ask your city to tighten their belt up as well and to examine what we can and can't save money on.
Commissioner Oliver.
I tend to agree with Commissioner Wilson concerning the privatization of our trash department and local sanitation department. When we made the decision to privatize that, we were told that we would be saving citizens money, but we would also receive the same service that we've received in the past. Well, that has yet to be proven at this point. Over 40% of the folks that I speak to concerning this issue agree that we should have never privatized our trash pickup. And I tend to agree because I have received very poor service since we've had this new service, since we had the new outsourced trash service. Given what I know now and what I've gotten from the citizens of Ocoee, it is my contingent that once this contract is up, or if there's a way to get out of this contract, I would actually vote to go back to what we had before, because we actually had a great service from our city. And I love the service that we had. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no other service that can compare to what we were getting before. Now, as far as an operational audit of this city, everyone knows that I have called for an operational audit. This city approved the operational audit in 2016, but they never funded it. So I've been asking for 3 years that we fund our operational audit so we can see where we are financially. If that means that our bond rates may go down a little bit or may even go up. But I do believe that we are doing some things very well in the city, and I think an operational audit will show that we're doing these things well, and here's ways to do them even better. And I also believe that we're going to find out there's some things we're not doing so well, and we'll be able to do those things even better. But what it boils down to is it saves taxpayers dollars. All that money we can save from an audit, I believe that we can put that to better use.
Candidate Hart.
Thank you. With the trash department, I had an opportunity to talk to the director of Public Works, and with the privatization, of the department, of the trash department. Basically, I just wish that maybe perhaps that we could have maybe get an overview of things that would be beneficial to the community. As for the audit, I agree with the audit. However, if we have the staff that can be able to do that on their own and without charging the taxpayers $100,000, I agree with Ms. Wilson that we should be able to do it on our own. But overall, I hope that everything gets evaluated again to see what's best for the citizens once the contract is over from the private company that we're using now, and see what's best for the citizen so that we can be able to spend our taxpayers' money effectively and wisely. Thank you.
Candidate Keller.
Thank you. First of all, I believe we should bring the back in-house the trash. When I was here last time, we brought it back in-house. We've tried the privatization before. It didn't work. We brought it back in-house. We got better service. I tend to agree we probably should have been looking more at increasing those rates a little bit over the time to keep up with it so that we wouldn't have had something come up like this where it looked beneficial to outsource it. When we had the trash in-house, we did much more with it as far as picking up extras and all that because it was a city service. Once you go with an outside contract, they're going to stick to just what the contract says, and I think that has diminished what we've gotten. As far as the audit goes, we've reduced the millage rate just about every year. We have a AA and AAA bond rating, and we get audited every year, and we do well with our audit. I'm not sure that we need to be spending $100,000 on an audit. If we can't do it in-house, I think we're kidding ourselves. I think we should just keep our audit in-house, and that money should be spent better on roads or other things that we actually need that'll help the citizens. Thank you.
Candidate Richardson.
Thank you. Regarding the sanitation, when you look at outsourcing, and the company that I work for has been part of outsourcing in a lot of situations to allow businesses to focus on their core business. Anytime you're looking at outsourcing, you have to evaluate all of the parts of the contract. And I know as a private citizen that I think I've seen the service diminish some. And as I agree with Candidate Keller, is that when you make a contract with an outsourcing company, they're going to stick to the contract. I think we have to look at all of the details of the contract. Did they come in with all new employees, or did they simply absorb the employees that were already here and part of the city sanitation department? I think we have to look at all of those things to determine whether or not it's best to go back to bringing it in-house. But if the service continues the way it is, then I would say yes, let's bring it back in-house. Regarding audits, audits are always good to have. It's always good to have an outside source to look at your books and determine whether or not you're using it in the best and wisest way possible. Whether or not we need to spend $100,000, that's debatable. But I do believe in having audits from outside sources to look at how we're spending our money.
The next question is for everyone on the panel. Volunteering is important. What has been your involvement in the community, not related to your job or as a commissioner? Commissioner Wilson?
Sure, thank you. I keep forgetting to take the mask off. Prior to being a commissioner, I've probably spent 10 years within the city. I've been on just to speak of that, Park and Recreation Board, Merit Board, Education Committee, Redistricting Committee. I'm one of the original Spring Fling event organizers that we were in our 15th year until COVID hit. So I don't know if we'll count 15 as the next time or we go to 16. But that was something that we did, I was involved in prior to becoming a commissioner. Since becoming a commissioner, And before that, I also, I'm a member of 2 organizations and civic organizations within Ocoee. I'm in the Ocoee Women's Club and the Lions Club. Also, I have volunteered prior to COVID at Give Kids the World and at the Garden Theater, which are 2 great programs. I am an advocate of volunteering. I think it's very important. I think it's good for our soul and good for the community. During COVID, I will say that my daughter and I probably made about 30 pillowcases for Give Kids the World. And so again, there was ways of doing things outside of being able to go and actually volunteer. So I'm a real advocate of that, and I would hope that we could promote our residents to come into our boards. That's a form of volunteering. Get involved in your community. You learn so much about your city, and it's so important. Plus, you learn a lot about other people that are here. The community's great. I mean, I've met so many people. I only have 30 seconds, so it's been a great experience, so I promote volunteering. Thank you.
Candidate Knox Anderson.
I agree with Commissioner Wilson. Volunteering is a great way to broaden your horizon and meet new people. For the last 2 years, I've been volunteering with the Horizon Scholars Mentor Program offered through Valencia Community College. This program connects young individuals in high school with mentors that have jobs and steady careers to show them what is possible. That program has taught me so much about what it means to be a mentor and stuff that you just really can't learn on your own. Prior to running, I was a volunteer with the Police Advisory Board for the Ocoee, on the Ocoee boards. I view that as an outreach of my former career in law enforcement. I also volunteer at local races, Ironman races, and marathons to help out the runners. I know from experience how much those volunteers mean to runners and racers from my own involvement, and I know how much it means for them to have a helping hand and a hearty hand slap before COVID happened. I hope to get back into that once COVID lifts restrictions up for races. I look forward to continuing my meetings with my mentor or mentee coming up in the fall semester. Thank you.
Commissioner Oliver.
I'd like to address one thing concerning the audit. I'm going to go back and I'll talk about volunteering. I think that's wonderful. But I also need to address this audit. Mr. Keller announced that, that the city has annual audits. Yes, we do what's called a CIFR. That is a comprehensive annual financial report. That report actually goes to Tallahassee, as every city in the state of Florida is required to send that report. That report only tells us we have a balanced budget. That means 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4. That's exactly what that means. Now, as far as the audit that I've asked for, I asked for an operational audit to determine where our money is spent internally, how money goes from one jail account to another jail account. We've never had an audit like that before in the history of the city. Never had an audit in the history of the city. However, we've also had the leadership come to us for budget amendments of $104,000 to send out certified mail concerning people that are running red light cameras, and to recoup the money, to recoup $78,000, but we needed $104,000. I can't quite wrap my brain around that concept. So if that doesn't tell you we need an audit, I don't know what does. As far as volunteering, I volunteer every single day. I could have actually retired in May of this year, but I decided to go back to work amidst COVID because I wanted to actually make a difference in my community. I became a teacher. And again, everyone knows I have youth programs. I've started a youth council program. I've been championing of youth programs since I've been here, so I decided to go back and teach our future leaders, which is not, and I commend Ms. Hart, because it is definitely it's a tough job, but it is a very rewarding job, and I love every day of it. My kids make me smile every single day, and I don't know what I would do without them. So volunteering, beyond being a commissioner, I volunteer every single day beyond that, as well as with my youth council and in my community. Thank you so much.
Candidate Hart.
Thank you. I'm also an advocate of volunteering. I currently participate on the Human Relations Diversity Board, where I am a member where we do the Martin Luther King parades, as I stated before, and also the Black History Essay Contest. Also, I am also an ordaining minister, where I do a lot of Boys and Girls Club, where I go out into the community to support our kids. I also initiate Sunday school, marriage ministry, children ministry, adult ministry, youth ministry, drama ministry activities for the community. I offer free tutoring to children in the community to prepare them for the FSA testing. And so far, God has blessed me to be 100%, the kids has passed 100% passing rate of 3 and higher. I also facilitate a nursing home where the kids will go out and just visit the residents there in nursing homes to let them know that they have not been forgotten. And we do that usually on Valentine's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, and Thanksgiving, and as well as Christmas. I'm very excited for the opportunity to be a volunteer. As Mr. Oliver said, that I am a teacher. So there's always things that we're doing to volunteer in the community to support our parents as well as our children. Thank you.
Candidate Keller.
Thank you. Yes, as everyone else said, I am very much into volunteering. I think that's one of the important parts of the community. As I've said before, I was on the Police Advisory Council. I've been on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I had to resign from that in order to run for commissioner again. So I was on the Sawmill Homeowners Association, an officer in that. I was with the church groups. I taught our students, our kids for the Catholic organizations there, as well as being on the Catholic youth organizations. I taught 8th grade religious classes. So been involved throughout the community, throughout my career, Little League, soccer, all of it, because it's helpful for the kids. The kids need it, and it just brings you an extra sense of joy when you can help other people. And so volunteer work has always been important to me.
Candidate Richardson.
I believe volunteering is really just loving people. And though I haven't volunteered in different associations in the city of Ocoee, I do a lot of volunteering within the church. I volunteered at a church here in Ocoee for many, many years, Orlando House of Prayer. And I volunteer my services for a lot of counseling, premarital, marital counseling, individual counseling, help my neighbors that can't get around or move around to clean out their gutters. Just doing acts of kindness, to me, is what everybody should be doing. And if that's what volunteering is, then I've done quite a bit of volunteering. I volunteered with youth, I volunteered with children, I volunteered with bringing men together and showing them how to grow up to be responsible men. Volunteering currently in helping to hand out food to needy families. Volunteering for helping to push programs that aimed at the lower income to give them a career path. So those are the kind of things that I volunteered for in the past. Thank you.
This question is for candidate Hart. How long have you been a member of the Human Relations and Diversity Board? Have you ever held a leadership position on the board, such as chairperson, or have you been the chair of any other subcommittee?
I've been a part of the Human Relations Diversity Board going on 5 years now. I have been a member. However, on the subcommittee board, I have been the secretary on the Human Relations Diversity Board as we prepared for the Day of Remembrance. Thank you.
This question is for Commissioner Oliver. Should you be reelected to serve as our commissioner, describe to the citizens your first priority.
My first priority is going to be one of accountability. Again, as I stated about the audit, I think it is going to be extremely important that we get an idea of where we are financially in the city. I know that most of us seem to think that we're in great financial shape, and that's okay. And I tend to hope that we are. However, without that operational audit, we really won't know where we are as far as our finances is concerned. And without that accountability, and the thing about it is that we approved an audit in 2016. I'll keep saying that, but we never funded that audit. So then that gives me pause to say if a commission unanimously approves an audit and then fails to fund that audit, then that gives me pause, makes me wonder why. And I'm sure it makes the citizens of Ocoee wonder why. So therefore, my first priority is going to be to get that audit funded to find out where we are financially. I think that, again, like I said, where we are financially, I think that we're able to determine we're doing some things really, really great. I think we'll be able to find out there's some things that we're not doing so well, but we can do even better. But again, I believe that it boils down to saying, hey, you know what? That extra money, we can actually retain our firefighters. We can raise their salaries. We can pay for their certifications. There's so many things we can do with that extra money as an audit will prove to us and show us those things. We can also look at possibly even revising our master plan, our downtown master plan, and be able to say, okay, now we can operate in a manner that is conducive to what the audit said we are as far as our financial strength said it is. Again, right now we do hold a AAA bond rating, and I think that with an audit, I think we will still maintain that bond rating, but I think it would allow us to spend money more responsibly and be even better stewards of the money, the tax dollars that come into the city.
This question is for the commissioner and the candidates in District 4. What will be your platform for the city? And why are you running for city commissioner? Commissioner Oliver.
Well, I think that as a city, we have to have a vision. And they say, without a vision, we shall perish. And my vision for the city is to be able to, not to be held hostage by dilapidated malls, such as the West Oaks Mall, disenfranchised areas that's not producing economically for the city. Be able to shift that focus more toward our community redevelopment agency, heading up Highway 50, and also find a better use for the 429. I think that the 429, we've missed some opportunities there to put in hotels, gas stations, shopping malls. There's a lot of land that we just missed. I think we just missed it. It's mostly industrial right now, but I believe that if we can actually look at the possibilities of what it could be and start shifting the focus away from the mall, because again, I get that all the time. Every time I knock on a door, it's, what are you going to do about the West Oaks Mall? Well, the West Oaks Mall is a private organization. They actually hold no debt, and we only pay $30,000. They only pay $30,000 a year in taxes to us. So they can pretty much do what they want to do, but the city has no claims on that. We can't make them do anything. But what we can do, we can shift that entire focus there. I think that has to be a part of our vision, and also putting more focus toward our downtown, with more sit-down restaurants, more retail economic development in our downtown area, looking at the responsibility of our infrastructure, having a balanced infrastructure with our development. I think those are another thing that we need to look at too. Being able to hold the developers accountable for infrastructure plans as they come into the city to do vertical builds. So I believe that looking at the infrastructure and the development and maintaining balance between those things, focusing our vision of the city away from the mall, all around to our CRA, as well as our downtown area in the 429, I believe that we can do some wonderful things in the city by doing that, and the only way we're going to do it is put me back in office.
Candidate Hart.
As I stated before, I know the importance of having grocery stores and gas stations and great police stations and fire departments, timely infrastructures to accommodate our travel around town. I understand the importance of retail businesses and restaurants and family entertainment, as well as the selective businesses that will pay their employees well so they can contribute to the economy of our Ocoee economy. I know the importance of keeping in industrial businesses out of our neighborhoods. I know the importance of ensuring that the citizens are accessible to health care, and I know the importance of the safety and well-being of our citizens, as well as keeping our millage rate low. Overall, we need to, my platform is balanced growth, to make sure that, because Ocoee is growing, and it's important that we have balanced growth where our citizens have the things that they need here inside the city without having to go out. Also, the West Oak Mall. I had the honor to speak to Mr. Shaw prior and to find out what's planned on that. So basically right now, it's a private business. We have to work with them, but we are looking forward. Looking forward and hoping that we can continue to have a voice in the decisions that they make as it relates to the West Oak Mall. As for the CRA, this is the opportunity for us to bring businesses in that will be able to pay different good pay, where it could be able to contribute to our citizens here in Ocoee, as well as our economic growth as well. Thank you.
Candidate Keller.
Thank you. I think the biggest issue that we have is downtown revitalization. We have to bring in the small businesses so we can bring in the stores, we can bring in the restaurants, we can bring in the jobs for our citizens. So that's probably the main issue that we have as a city. Inside of District 4 as well, I think we also have to look at the traffic. The infrastructure and the traffic is a major problem. Finally, they've gotten to widen it where they're going in the next 18 months, they're going to widen Clark Road. But in that plan, I did not see anything for the traffic light that's desperately needed at Hackney Prairie and Clark Road. Those are the types of things that need to be included in there. McCormick Road is going to be the next Clark Road. Right now, that's a 2-lane road. One side of it, that's basically the borderline between Apopka and Ocoee. Right now, we're building on the one side, Apopka's building on the other, and the county owns the road and they're not doing anything about widening it. We're going to need to go work with them, strongly with them, in order to get that road widened, get the traffic lights on it that we need, besides the ones that are coming right now, but we're going to need some more. And just getting that stuff done. We also need to look at the fire department. When I left, the fire department was excited to be here. That was why they liked the fact that I supported them and got them to stay in the city. And we had a good fire department, and there was a high morale. We need to get back to that, and that depends on how it is we're going to work with them to make sure that we can get that morale back.
Candidate Richardson.
In driving around in the District 4 area, I would agree with some of the other candidates that the traffic situation seems to be a growing issue. And that would be one of the first areas that I would look at is what are our plans, and are our plans in alignment with the growth that we're experiencing? And how can we, as Commissioner Oliver said, how can we partner with the developers to help bring about solutions for the traffic conditions? As I've talked to some of the police officers also, that is a concern of theirs, is the growing traffic issue. So to me, that is a top priority area. Also, I think the city is moving in the right direction towards revitalizing the downtown area. We obviously have to look at that and say, what are the things that will attract people, that will attract, it's one thing to just have businesses here. We want businesses, we want a type of activity that will actually attract people to the downtown area. So I would want to look at that and see if we're attracting or if we're planning for the types of businesses that will actually attract people into the downtown area. Thank you.
This question is for the entire panel. How do you plan to support the service sector workers in this area that we so dependent upon as we continue rapid development? Commissioner Wilson?
Well, that's a little confusing. Service sector, it's workers, but I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at it. How's
What it
that?
says.
Okay, I'll give that a whirl. I think what I'm going to focus on is living local. I think that we've all talked about supporting our local businesses, if that's what it's referring to. I'm going to go ahead and focus on that. That, you know, we talk about wanting restaurants. We want sit-down restaurants. Well, I want to know, are you frequenting the restaurants that are in town? Are you giving them the business? That's important to me. We have to live local. We have to shop here in our community. That is where we give, you know, a lot of our kids as they were growing up, this is where they worked. They worked close to home. We frequent the businesses that are here. And if you don't, then they're going to go away. And you're not going to attract other businesses when you starting to have storefronts close. So to me, that's very important. The other, I guess that's about it, because I truly believe in living local. So, thank you. It's a confusing.
Candidate Knox Anderson?
I believe this is an overly broad question, but I will also take my best stab at it. We have to support our local businesses. It's important that we contribute to downtown Ocoee. We all are excited about building up downtown Ocoee, and I think downtown Ocoee has a great potential to be better than Winter Garden. But in order to do so, we have to be out supporting those local businesses. I love going out and exploring new businesses in Ocoee and finding new places to eat and dine. One of my favorite places to visit is the West Orange Creamery. I have a Friday tradition of going there every week with my daughter and my wife to eat ice cream. We visit Toll House Brewery. All these places depend on us, local citizens, to get name recognition to them and support them. I think we can support our service sector employees by supporting local businesses. We want a strong economy, and that starts at home. It starts by supporting these businesses downtown. We look at Winter Garden and slightly envious of what they have, but they shop local. We have a chance to be better, and I think we should focus on supporting downtown Ocoee and building that up.
Commissioner Oliver?
So how do we do it? We got to get outside the box. That means we got to leave the city as leadership. We have to leave the city and go find cities that are comparable to ours, that's in the same condition as our city. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place at times. And when it comes down to retail establishment, economic development, we have to go outside the city, go to other cities that look like our city, or used to look like our city, that has been rebounded and revitalized. How do we do that? We leave the city. I've taken upon myself to visit city. I visited a city in Pinellas County 2 years ago. They had the same issue we were having here in Ocoee. And that city is like bustling with retail economic development, breweries, sit-down restaurants. And I went over there and I asked them, how did you do this? They told me the same thing. We had to get outside this box. And we had to go to other cities that looked like ours that had plans to be able to bring this type of business in. When the leadership comes together as one unit and they come together in the interest of the city to bring something forth like a sit-down restaurant or more retail economic development, people tend to listen. They would take a chance on our city. They would look at our city, look at the value of our city, the value that we bring as a city, and they'll be willing to come and take a chance and bring their retail establishment into our city. I believe that the city of Ocoee loses probably 90% of the sit-down restaurants, 90% of the dollars that we could generate on any given Friday night or Saturday night to Winter Garden. Because we only have literally one real sit-down restaurant here in the city, and I think that most people will leave the city to go to a Winter Garden to sit down and eat because they just have so many, there's a variety of restaurants that they can go to. So I believe we lose a lot of revenue on a Friday night or a Saturday night that we could be capturing here if we just had more sit-down restaurants and just kind of concentrate them in an area that people can go and sit down and enjoy themselves.
Candidate Hart?
Thank you. Restaurants, 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 something that we've been asking for many, many years here as a resident. Yes, we must support our local businesses, the moms and the pops especially, and we must also I agree with Mr. Oliver, go outside the box and learn what other communities are doing, surrounding communities. Learn from it and bring it back, and let's support our communities. But it's essential that we support our local businesses so that we can continue to contribute to them, to keep the doors open, as well as contribute to our economic growth here in Ocoee. Thank you.
Candidate Keller.
Thank you. Again, it's getting the restaurants here. And that is going outside and looking at where the restaurants, whether that means going to the Vegas convention each year, where that our city does now, to talk to the all of the restaurateurs and the store owners and things like that, so that we can bring business in here. I think we need to do that. We definitely need to be shopping local. You know, when I go for pizza, it's Marco's Pizza. When I'm going for the Chinese restaurants, it's going to be the Chinese restaurants right in Ocoee, whether it's the ones in my district or the ones within, not in the district itself, but locally in the city still. That's what I think we need to do. We also need to get on some of the boards, on some of the computer boards that are out there that the state has, that builds up the city so that you can see what the city has and what it offers as far as its amenities, its growth factors, its fire department, its police, its number of citizens. All of these things are out there that we can take advantage of, and I don't know that the city has done that as well as we should be in the past. And I would like to push again more for that if I get back on the board, because that is something that, to me, is where we're going to get the help to get this people back here, get the new businesses here, and get the restaurants and the businesses that we want to grow our city the way we want it to be grown. Thank you.
Candidate Richardson.
Would you repeat the question?
Absolutely. How do you plan to support the service sector workers in this area that we are so dependent upon as we continue rapid development?
I think two things. Number one, we need to get out and talk to the local service providers. In other words, the current restaurant owners, the current shop owners that are here. I just drove by one place where I saw that there was a sign on the door that they have moved. I believe it was a flower shop, that they have moved to a different area. And I think we need to talk to them and say, what are you seeing? What's happening? What's going on? How can we support you? The second thing I think we need to do is we need to reach out across different elements. We need to talk to our faith-based leaders. We need to talk to our community leaders. We need to talk to our citizens. What is it that you want? We can go out and get a lot of things and bring a lot of things into the city, but is it what the community wants, and is it what the community will support? I think that's very important for us in order to figure out how we support the services people within our city.
We will now take a 10-minute intermission. Okay, this question is for candidate Knox Anderson. What boards, how long on board leadership role, and how many commission meetings have you attended?
I served on the Police Advisory Board from 2019 up until I started my run in January of this year. Unfortunately, I had to resign from the board in order to continue, in order to run for City Council. As for City Commission meetings, due to my schedule and my wife's schedule, I'm unable to attend them in person. My daughter is home right now with my mother, so it's hard for me to schedule babysitters with her. So I usually watch them via YouTube from the city's Facebook or via YouTube.
This question is for Commissioner Oliver. I read that you think the commission seats should be full-time positions. This is not even the case in Orlando. How do you justify it in Ocoee?
Well, it's a great question. Whoever sent that question, thank you for sending that question. I believe that we're right at about 50,000 residents. And I believe that we are due to grow out to close to 85,000 residents. And it is my contention that we, as a city, as city commissioners, as leadership, we should be able to work as full-time commissioners and think about the possibilities of what we can do as a full-time commissioner. Working, going outside the box, bringing in the retail economic development, doing the things that we need to do to touch bases with our citizens on an everyday basis. We had office hours. Think about the citizens that we can touch on a daily basis within a 8 to 12 hour work week, or 8 to 12 hour work day, or even a 40 to a 50 to 60 hour work week. Think about the possibilities that we can do as a collective unit of leaders in the city to be able to meet the needs of our citizens right there where they are. We can hit the streets, be out there and know about what's going on in our city. Think about the board meetings we could attend with the school board. We are in bad need of a school right now. We need a K-12 like yesterday. Everybody else around us is building their schools, but think about if we were full-time, we could come together as one collective unit, go to the school board and demand that they put up a K-8 school in our district. We can demand we can go to the county meetings as a city, as city leadership, and demand that they widen McCormick Road, and demand that they put the lights in the places that they need to put the lights. We can do so much as a full-time commissioner as opposed to a part-time. Again, we don't live in Mayberry. We don't live in Mayberry anymore. 50,000 residents that we have. We can't keep operating like that. We have to expand and operate like we live in a larger city than Mayberry.
This question is for Commissioner Wilson. What is the current millage rate, and can you explain it?
Sure. Our millage rate currently is 5.15, which basically means that it is $5.15 per 1,000 of your assessed value minus the exemptions that you have. So again, and I bring this to your attention that when you read your tax bill, remember that there's about 5 or 6 lines on that bill. And the 5 or 6 lines, one of them is the City of Ocoee, one is Orange County, one is St. John's Water Management, one is the library, Orange County Public Schools, and I may be missing one. But we're just one of those lines on the bill. And so there's many benefits to paying some of these other taxes. The library's a great system. You're paying your millage rate. They each have an independent millage rate. Some are less than 1%. I think Orange County is somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 mills. I think the school somewhere, I might be wrong on this, somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 mills per the value of your home less the exemptions. So again, it's wise that we spend the time to read our tax bill, just to bring your attention to some things that, Orange County, when you're paying Orange County taxes, well, there's benefits to us living with paying Orange County taxes. We have parks that are available to us, such as Magnolia Park. Right now, they're going to put $4.1 million into re-upping the park. I'm sorry, I lost word there. To improve the park. And again, these are things that we have. St. John's Water Management is one of your items on the tax bill. There's the Apopka Wildlife Ride, 10-mile ride, great place to take your family. These are all benefits of the taxes that you pay in this community. So please, look at your tax bill and understand what each and every item means. Thank you.
This question is for candidate Hart and Richardson. Do you think that you have the qualities and determination to become an elected official in any level of government? If yes, then why didn't you make an attempt to run for a commission seat in the City of Ocoee prior to now? Candidate Hart?
Yes, I am a leader, and I think I have the ability to be the next commissioner here of the City of Ocoee for District 4. There's timing for everything. There's a place and there's a time. I have my 3 beautiful girls. They're older now, so therefore I have the time to contribute more to my community in addition to what I have been doing before. So this is the time, after receiving the blessings of my husband and my girls, I decided to run for a city commissioner to do more and to contribute more to my community. So I have the leadership skills, as I stated before, as a critical care nurse. My leadership skills has been based on assessment, planning, implementing, and evaluating. You always want to evaluate to always see what you could do better. As a teacher, I use those same, it's a nursing model called API, but I use the same skills to assess my kids, to plan, to implement, and to evaluate. So this is part of the leadership skills that I will continue to use to make the decisions that I think is best and beneficial to the citizens of this community and to all citizens besides just not only District 4. So I am very confident that I do have the leadership skills to move the city forward, and I'm looking forward for the opportunity to do so. Thank you.
Candidate Richardson.
Thank you for that question. I do believe that I have the ability to be a commissioner. Why haven't I run before? I would agree with Mrs. Hart that there's time for everything. I'm the type of individual that when I do something, I put my all into it. And the first place where you put your all into it is at home. So I had to make sure that home was taken care of and that those responsibilities were taken care of. So now I believe that I'm in a place in life where I can fully commit to being the type of commissioner that I think the residents of District 4 deserves. One who will look into situations, find solutions, which I've done all of my life, is being confronted with an issue, a concern, a challenge, and finding a solution for that challenge. It's something that, like I said, I've done on a daily basis for 37 years of my life. And so, therefore, being able to plan, being able to implement things, I've done those types of things. I've been in a management position with a global company before, and also in the military, I was a non-commissioned officer with responsibilities in guarding and leading a team of guarding embassy buildings overseas. So being able to make decisions, being able to investigate and extract what needs to be done is something that's not foreign to me.
This question is for Commissioner Oliver, and also there on this same email is a question for candidate Hart. So we'll go with Commissioner Oliver first. Why do you think the people of District 4 should consider you for re-election?
Also a good question. I have a vision for not only District 4, but I have a vision for this entire city. And the vision is actually to bring our city together as one, as we embrace one Ocoee. I believe that we are more alike than we are different. And I think that we first need to come together as a city and be able to say, okay, what are the things that we need? And in my vision, I see that this city is a city with so much potential, particularly along our lakefront, our downtown property. I want to be able to continue the work that we've already started. We've actually gotten the infrastructure in the downtown project done, and we're also working to bring in more retail economic development. I want to continue with those projects. I want to continue with my youth projects, basically grooming our next leaders to take over this city and to be able to be good stewards of our tax dollars and leave them a legacy that we can be proud of. If you also want to know why I feel I should also be reelected and what I want to do for the city, you can always go to ocoee.org and go to District 4, and you will see a long list of things that I've accomplished in 3 years. So if I can accomplish these things in 3 years, I have a list of things I've accomplished in just 3 years. Imagine what I can do in 4. Thank you.
Candidate Hart, this part of the question people of District 4 who are not currently being heard?
Thank you. Great question. As I expound on, once again, I may be the underdog sitting here among experienced commissioners, or former commissioners, but my career has prepared me for leadership. My leadership experience has been to, as I stated, to assess the facts, to plan, to implement, to evaluate. And this is, like I said, it's a nursing model, but throughout the life to ensure that the decisions I make are correct based on the facts and not assumptions. I'm not naive to the fact that I will not be able to make everybody happy in the decisions that I make and to ensure the benefits, but I will ensure the benefits, the beneficial part to make sure that the citizens of this community is taken care of. I will be the voice for those that have no voice. That's why it's so important that as me as your commissioner, I will not pop my head out of the ground when it's time to election time to charm you for your vote. I will be present year-round. You will know me. I will be engaged with you year-round. We will work together. City leaders cannot do it all by themselves. So therefore, it's important that I hear you. I will listen to you so that we can be able to work together and to move this community forward as we are one Ocoee. Thank you.
This question is for Knox Anderson. Can you explain what the ISO 1 rating for the fire department means?
Sure. The ISO 1 rating for the fire department is a classification given by an insurance company. There are 10 levels. It goes from 10 to 1, with 1 being the best. Our Ocoee Fire Department is at a level 1. With a level 1 rating, that means as citizens, we have better insurance rates. Our fire department is better trained to handle emergencies. With that responsibility and that level of certification through ISO 1, there's increased training, there's increased responsibilities, there's increased paperwork, but they do it in order to provide the best service and care for Ocoee. So it gets confusing, but ISO 1 is simply, you can look at it as an insurance rate. 1 is the best, and I'm glad we have, our fire department is at a level 1.
This question is for all the new candidates. If you are elected, how will you continue the work by the current commission, or will you delay it? Candidate Knox Anderson.
I have no interest in delaying work done by previous candidates. I think Ocoee's making great strides toward the future. We have constantly built Ocoee up, and we're constantly striving toward greatness. In science, everyone talks about standing on the shoulders of great people when you make new discoveries. And if elected as commissioner, that's what I'll be doing. I didn't get to that role by being myself. I'll get to that role by the work that people went before me. One of my priorities is making sure downtown Ocoee is great. Commissioner Wilson spearheaded that effort, and I want to continue doing that. We're all striving to make Ocoee better, and I think we're all working together to make Ocoee better. What differs from us is just how we want to accomplish those goals.
Candidate Hart.
Will you repeat the question, please?
Oh, sorry, hold on.
If you are elected, how will you continue the work by the current commission, or would you delay the work?
Okay. Before I answer that, I would just like to go back to the previous question that I was asked about being a voice for those that's not heard in District 4. I am honored, first of all, to be in this position, and my desire to one was to be part of the community, to serve my community. However, I want to encourage other women to run as well, because we have been underrepresented for so long in our arena that has been male-dominated. Ladies, we need to have our voice to be listened to, not just heard. I have much respect for Ms. Rosemary Wilson, and I will be honored to serve with her. And if I win, just know that I will not be the last. I will inspire other women of all races to take a stand and have a voice at the table as well. Now, if I am not the next candidate for, the next commissioner for District 4, I will continue to serve in the capacity to serve my community, as I've always have done. And I will support the commissioners as they move forward and take care of the city of Ocoee, because this is my home. And as Mr. Knox mentioned, that we are here because we care about our community. So yes, I will not just stop doing what I'm doing, because I love what I do. I love the city of Ocoee. I bought 2 homes here, so I'm not going anywhere. So I will continue to grow, I will continue to learn, and you will see me again if I'm not blessed to be here this time around. But I will continue to serve my community in any way that I can. Thank you.
Candidate Keller.
Thank you. No, I would not be putting a stop to anything that we are doing now. A lot of what we've done, I helped start. They started the project with the revitalization downtown when I was here, and we went through the meetings and we got everything started. So I think that that's an important concept, that we keep it moving forward. I think I have a good skill set to do that. When we needed to go to the different locations, to the different committees, to whether it be at the State House or whether it be at the federal level, I was one of the ones who've been there, who've asked. I had gone and talked before the committees and had gotten money, seed money, for our firing range being moved. Right now we have a firing range in District 4, and it's getting closer and closer to where homes are being built. That needs to be moved. I had gotten that money in the budget for that from the state. Unfortunately, the governor redlined it and vetoed it because he's got line item veto. We've done the same thing with the zip code issue on the national level. We've gone before the committees, we've gone before the Congress and Senate to ask them to help us get one zip code in Ocoee. So, because that too will lower insurance rates for a lot of people who have insurance. Right now, I don't think people realize that the city of Ocoee has 7 zip codes in it. And some of those have very poor insurance ratings. And we can get those increased if we can get stuff like that taken care of. And that's what I bring to the table, is the knowledge of how to work with this, with the other different elected officials around us, whether it's at the federal, the state, the county, or the school board. And that's what I bring to the table.
Candidate Richardson.
Great question. There's a reason why people are moving to the city of Ocoee. I think it would be foolish for me to delay the progress that's already going on in the city of Ocoee if I'm elected commissioner. I think it's important to sit down and evaluate with the city managers, continue to look over the documents and all of the information that of the current projects that are in place, the current projects that are in progress, and look at those things and say, okay, what can we do to enhance the things that we feel are great, and what can we do to maybe change some of the things that maybe we don't think is to the best benefit of the citizens of Ocoee. I think it's important to look at that. But to come in and stop what's going on, like I said before, there's one thing that I look at. People don't move to a city if they don't see something in the city. And with the rate that we're growing, it tells me that people are being drawn to the city for a reason.
This question is for Commissioner Wilson. Please explain CRA and what does it stand for?
Oh, I'd love to talk about that.
I didn't know what it meant.
I love the CRA. The CRA is the Community Redevelopment Agency, which it's kind of like just a separate little grouping of funds that go into one pot. And it's classified as, it comes from an area that is a blighted area. If all of you remember the Colony Plaza, when you entered Ocoee and you saw the Colony Plaza in its deplorable state, it wasn't a great entrance to our community. And this is where a CRA takes a blighted area, takes part of the tax dollars, and puts them back into that area. It pretty much runs from the 429 to Clark Road. And there's a lot of things that have happened within the CRA. If you notice the mast arms that are over that hold the traffic lights up, when DOT redeveloped the area, made Highway 56 lanes, you see that they just basically put strings across with the lights. Well, we decided to upgrade and put the beautiful mast arms. There was over $900,000 that was spent in the medians. And when you go look at other communities along Highway 50, you see that our medians are beautiful. And the purpose of the CRA is when you come into Ocoee, our gateway should look beautiful. And what happens is when the CRA invests funds, it is supposed to promote business. So when we see new businesses open on Highway 50, that's creating tax dollars for us. So it's kind of a win-win situation. We love to use acronyms, CRA, but that's what it means, Community Redevelopment Agency. It's about I believe it's a 30-year program that all the funds will go back into the area and improve it. Thank you.
This is a two-part question, and it's for everyone on the panel. It says, what are your plans for affordable housing? And what are your plans for accessible transportation? Commissioner Wilson?
We do have affordable housing within Ocoee. Unfortunately, affordable housing has taken a different look. But I will say that we do. We have apartment complexes. I know that we have a complex that is for our elderly that is based on income. Again, it's a tough question to answer because some of our homes, they are affordable, but it depends on how you look at it. Are they $50,000 anymore? No, our homes are not $50,000. They're $150,000 and up. Can you repeat the second part of that question? I'm sorry.
I threw it away already. What are your plans for accessible transportation?
That's a tough question too, because accessible transportation, Lynx bus service had a bus system out here. The only problem is the ridership was not where it could be. So they brought in the small bus, and that does go around the city. You have to call Lynx and arrange for the transportation to come pick you up, which again is a win-win situation. So for some folks, they don't have to go to an actual location. Unless you're on Highway 50, I believe there are locations there. But you can get picked up at your home. It's called a 611 bus, and it all happened because of low ridership on the regular bus that was in the city.
Candidate Knox Anderson.
With affordable housing, we have to realize that as Ocoee's growing, our house prices are going up as well. While that does help current residents, it's not helping our future residents. The new apartment complexes are going up. The rates are set by the apartment complexes, depends on variable factors in them. But I think we can do better in ensuring that we have affordable housing in the city by working with state and local partners to provide that option for individuals wanting to come in. And this is all about partnership with state and local stakeholders. We need to make sure that we're working with other departments in Florida to make sure that everyone who wants to live in Ocoee can afford to do so. I love Ocoee, and I want to share that with everyone that wants to be here. With accessible transportation, we need to work with Lynx. Lynx controls the buses essentially in Central Florida. So by working with Lynx, we can partner with them and make sure that we have accessible transportation in Ocoee. As Commissioner Wilson stated, it was due to low ridership that ended most of the routes within Ocoee. But if there's demand for it, Lynx will bring back the buses and will bring back the transportation we need. And if it's something that we can show there's demand for it, we can go to Lynx and say, hey, our residents are saying they're demanding it, and we can have Lynx come back in. But we need to be aware of this so we can work with other private or state and local stakeholders.
Commissioner Oliver.
Also, another great question. Affordable housing. When we think about affordable housing, we think about the single-family home, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, and we look at the rates that we're paying here in the city, and they are pretty high. But if you compare Winter Garden, Windermere, and Apopka around us, Ocoee actually still have better rates. Now, When I think about affordable housing, I think about something a little different. I think about the trailer parks that we have around our city. I think about the dilapidated trailers when you go into those areas, and I've spent quite a bit of time in two of the trailer parks that we have in the city, and I've seen the conditions that they live under. And it doesn't make me proud, doesn't make me happy, but what it makes me want to do is figure out ways that we can actually help the folks that need the help in those cities. So I've actually talked to developers about how can we as a city partner with trailer parks. Not only that, but how can we actually come together with our developers that develop $1 million buildings and headquarters all around these trailer parks, but they don't partner with them. There's no partnership in giving them jobs. There's no partnership in helping them with their trailers. So I want to put together a program that's going to help those folks. As far as transportation services, I met a guy on the corner about a month ago named Brian. He gets dropped off at the corner of Clark and Silver Star. He has to walk all the way up to Popcove Island just to catch a bus to go to Altamont. So the problem we have is I believe we have the ridership right now. As we've grown so much, I think we have the ridership that we need right now to go to links and say, hey, we have what we need to get more routes in our city. This is where we as city commissioners and the mayor come together, and we go together as a collective unit and say, okay, here's the numbers. We demand to have better services in our city. Thank you.
Candidate Hart.
Thank you. Good question. We are growing, so therefore it's very important that we have affordable housing, that everyone that desires to come and stay in Ocoee will be able to do so. The CRA is a redevelopment area whose plan is set up to allow mixtures of use of development properties, including multifamilies, which is coming affordable homes for people. So there are a couple of projects already in the CRA that has affordable housing components, such as one on Winter Garden Road and one on Bruford and Highway 50. The workforce and affordable housing are important, and I look forward to seeing them integrated into the designs of our urban projects so that everyone could be accessible that desire, once again, to stay here, be able to do so. As for transportation, it's important that we communicate with links so that they can understand the needs that we have for the city. If we have the population continue to grow, we're going to need more buses. We're going to need more routes so that the residents could be available to get on the bus and be able to even perhaps be dropped off closer to their homes or to their workplaces. So it's important that we communicate. A lot of times we communicate, a lot of things could be solved when we work with different businesses and companies. Thank you.
Candidate Keller.
Thank you. I think on the affordable housing, we just have to work with the developers. We have to work with the state and federal to see if we can get help for the financing so that the young couples that are just starting out can actually afford to get the homes here. And we need to have those types of homes built where the young people can actually afford to move into the city. Right now, our biggest problem seems to be we've got a great amount of homes for people who already are established, but we've got to get that lower end where the young couples, the newly married couples, the singles can come in here, whether it's apartments, multifamily, whatever. But we have to work with the state and the federal to help with some of those loans so that we can get those kind of homes in here that the students and young couples can actually get into. As far as the transportation, we do need to go back. It's been a while since Lynx has taken us off their major routes. I think what we need to do is go back and take a look at just where our population is to make the best routes. I think the routes that we had in the past, everything ran through the mall, and that may not necessarily be what we need. We may need some that go more from Ocoee to downtown Orlando. We may need some that'll go from Ocoee to Winter Garden or up towards Claremont. And I think that's what we have to look at. We have to be creative with how we want those routes to be done. And I think that's one of the big things that we need. But we definitely have to get back with Links and revisit the fact that as Ocoee has grown, we now need those routes back. Thank you.
And candidate Richardson.
Great question. I think starting with affordable housing, to me, there's a two-part answer. I think we have to have a plan, and I would want to talk with city officials and stuff. We have to have a plan to be able to have affordable housing in such a way where a person that's needing that type of housing can enter into that type of housing and have momentum to move up as time allows. I think also we have to look at the type of people who are in need of affordable housing. And if it's a situation where maybe their income needs to be adjusted, we can look at programs. I am currently working with a group to bring in a program to help aimed at low-income families, to help them find ways to get degrees and be able to come into a higher income level, be able to get career-type positions. So that's the other part that I would look at in terms of affordable housing. Obviously, we want to work with government. We want to investigate all levels of government to see what's available through those different agencies. As far as the transportation, I would want to talk to the citizens that are submitted that question and see how many residents are we talking about, what is their needs, and then look at a plan based upon need. I think to just run into something and start doing something without evaluating what the need aspect is of it, I think sometimes we could run into trouble and put something in place that's not necessary.
Thank you, Candidate Richardson. This concludes the question and answer portion of the forum, and now we would like to invite each candidate to present their 2-minute final statement. Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you. I'm very proud of our city staff. I'm very proud of the commission. I just want to go over a couple things that we've talked about tonight. We have great services. We do have sit-down restaurants. We just need to frequent them. Right here within probably walking distance of City Hall, we have probably 2 or 3 businesses alone. We have a booming CRA. We're going to have a wellness park near the police department based from the CRA. We have a healthy reserve fund. That reserve fund, if you all remember the hurricane, when our debris was picked up before many other cities, was because we had a healthy reserve fund that we could depend on to do that. Because FEMA, it takes years to get the money back from FEMA. We have a very competent staff that handles an $80 million budget that we as commissioners work on. We have a vibrant park system and for all of our residents. The millage rate has decreased for more than the last 6 years, and the property values have increased. I want to say that I can safely say that I am the better candidate to serve the residents of Ocoee. I have the time, the experience, dedication, and a proven track record to keep Ocoee a great place to live and work. I'm available to talk to you if you have any questions. I trust I have earned your vote, and please vote for me, Rosemary Wilson, on or before March 9th. Thank you.
Candidate Knox Anderson.
I'll be the first to admit, I'm new at this political campaign experience. I jumped in this campaign with both feet and haven't looked back. That's just who I am. My personality drives me to be better every year than the year I was before, to keep learning, growing, and challenge myself. That will to drive is what drove me to earn my master's degree, to finish my first Ironman race, and if elected, I'll provide that same dedication to represent District 2 as a city commissioner. But being a political novice, I reached out for advice and found the same piece of advice constantly repeated. The advice was simple: provide a call to action. A call to action gives your supporters something to do, something to share, and gets them invested in your campaign. To conclude tonight's speech, here's my very simple call to action, directed at everyone watching tonight. Get out and vote. Not only that, but get your neighbor to vote, and then their neighbor to vote. Canvass your neighbor to have your entire neighborhood vote. I hope that you vote for me. What I want the most is that you vote and take others along with you. Your voice matters, whether at a national, state, or local level, and your voice deserves to be heard. And at a local level, your voice has the most impact on how Ocoee will be run for the next few years. All of us on stage, candidates and commissioners, all share the same goal. We represent you, whether you're in District 2 or District 4, on issues that affect Ocoee. What we differ in and what defines our individual campaigns is how we plan to accomplish them. In closing, I'm running for office for 3 very simple reasons. 1, I love this city. 2, I want to ensure Ocoee is a better place for my family, my neighbors, and for current and future residents. And 3rd, and most important reason of them all, I'm running for office to ensure that all residents of Ocoee have a voice in how the city works. My website is jknoxanderson.com, and my goal is to be here to listen when you want to talk. My name is Knox Anderson. I'm proud to be here tonight, and I hope I've earned your vote on March 9th.
Commissioner Oliver.
Hi, my name is George Oliver III. I'm running for re-election to the City of Ocoee Commission Seat 4, and I want to thank everyone who voted for me last time to put me in this seat here. But there's still much work to be done. Ocoee is a good city, but I ran for office. I'm running for office again to make it a great city. There are so many things that we can do to improve the quality of life for everyone here. I would like to continue to serve District 4 as your District 4 Commissioner because I have a vision for the city. I will propel us into a great city, a vision that will address issues such as sit-down restaurants, retail economic development, infrastructure, and a better quality of life, again, for all citizens of Ocoee. Upon re-election, I plan to continue the work I've started. I plan to continue to push for the city to fund the operational audit in an effort to promote transparency. Once we have achieved that goal, I will work to revise our master development plan so that it lines up with our responsible spending. I'm the commissioner that will hold the entire leadership team accountable, including myself. I'm willing to work hard for the citizens of Ocoee, and I think we deserve better than what we have had previously experienced in the past commissions. Ocoee is a good city, but I like to help make it a great city once again. I believe in fighting for what is right and holding leadership accountable. I also believe in the idea of one Ocoee. And I'll leave you with this. I shall pass this way but once. Any good that I can do or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer and let me not neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. That was by Stephen Gillette, the French-American
Thank you,
Quaker
Commissioner
missionary.
Oliver. Candidate Hart.
Thank you. I agree with Mr. Oliver that our community deserves better. And that's why I'm here, because I believe that we deserve better. I'm looking forward to serving the people of this city. I want to be able to continue to make sure that we have balanced growth and also education, not only just for the children, but also for an adults, so that they can be able to have the opportunity to understand how the city government work. A lot of times things could be avoided if they knew. And so that's one thing I would like to do, is to have seminars so they can come in and get to know their city. Also the environment, making sure that we maintain our waterways and our conservation areas. Also to continue to try to keep our millage rates down so that we can continue to foster the growth and also contribute to our economy so that we can also and invite other businesses in to increase our economic growth. If you want a commissioner that will work hard for all these things and listen to your concerns and communicate the facts, be transparent, be honest, I ask that you vote for Lori Hart on your mail-in ballot or on March 9th at the John Beeching Center. I'm willing to work for you. I'm transparent, and I look forward to meeting you. Also, I had the opportunity to send out letters to all homeowner association because I want to hear your voice. I also had the opportunity to meet with Ms. Bird from the school board, as well as Christina Moore, because I care about my community. And so therefore, I'm fighting for you, and I look forward to continue to work for you. So therefore, vote Lori Hart once again on March 9th. Thank you for the opportunity.
Candidate Keller.
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank those people who have supported me in the past. I would like to ask for your support again. You have seen me before. You have seen how hard that I have worked for the city. When it comes to fighting, whether it was fighting the federal government with FEMA, whether it was fighting City Hall with the fire department, whether it was fighting the county with the transfer station, I was there and I got out in front and I got the work done. And that's what I promise to do again. If you re-elect me, I will be the one that comes out there and make sure that things get accomplished. We put together a great plan that got started when I was on the commission last. And now that plan is hopefully coming to fruition through the revitalization and getting more businesses and more stores and more restaurants in the downtown when this revitalization plan comes. We're finally seeing the fruition with getting the Clark Road widened. We're finally looking at that now the Clark Road extension is all the way through. And we also now need to work on McCormick Road. These are the things that I can help do. These are the things that I've done before. I've shown my ability to be able to fight for the citizens. Give me the chance to fight for you again. Please vote for Joel Keller on March 9th or on an absentee ballot. Thank you very much for your support.
Candidate Richardson.
First of all, I want to thank the Women's Club for inviting us and hosting this event. And I want to let the people know that my motto is servant leadership. For the people, by the people. You vote for me, I'm going to serve you. And so you can expect honest answers from me, hard work, I'm a good listener, and I'm solution-oriented. I want to work for not only the new citizens, but not forget about the old citizens, the ones who have been here and lived here a long time. I want to bring people together to unify the old and the new, different ethnicities, people with different cultures, different backgrounds, bring them together to make the city great. The city is a good city, otherwise I would not still be living here. But we want to continue to make it a great city. And so I will work hard. I will meet with the officials that I need to meet with. I will meet with the business owners that I need to meet with. I will work tirelessly to meet with our residents and let them know that I'm listening for your voice. And I'm not just going to be a listener, but a doer. I don't want to be just a hearer of the word, but a doer of your words. So if you will vote for me on March 9th, I guarantee you that I'm going to give you an all-out effort to make sure that your concerns are heard and that this city is a city where you will desire to live.
Thank you. This concludes tonight's forum. On behalf of the Women's Club, we wish to thank the candidates for their participation, the citizens for their questions, and the City of Ocoee for their usual and utmost cooperation, allowing the Women's Club to conduct this political forum in city chambers. We also want to thank the City Clerk's Office and the Community Relations Department for coordinating all the little details that make this event a success and affording the Women's Club the opportunity to help our community make an informed choice in the leadership of our city. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.